Now then, let's begin the tutorial right away. How about I start with the rules for winning and losing? BLAZBLUE is a fighting game where each side battles one-on-one. For the tutorial, you will be using Ragna the Blood Edge, but elsewhere, you can choose whichever character you want. Let's take a look at the screen display. Displayed in the middle, you can see the countdown timer. In a standard game, this is set to 99 seconds. The two green bars, located on either side of the countdown timer, represent the HP remaining for each character. On the left, you will find Player 1, and on the right, Player 2. Players fight each other with the characters they control, and the player who reaches 0 health first loses that round. The player that wins the designated number of rounds is declared the victor. If neither player's health gauge reaches 0 and the countdown timer expires, the player with the most health remaining will win that round. Remember that.
Excellent!
If both players have the same amount of health left when the countdown timer reaches 0, then it will end in a draw. If both players' health reaches 0 at the same time, it will result in a double down, and both players will win a round. Those are the basic rules. From here on, I'll explain the special rules. However, there are many situations that happen infrequently, so you can listen for your own knowledge, but it's okay if you don't listen that intently. In the case of a draw, or a double down, if it occurred on a round that would have determined a victor, then only the player with the fewer number of rounds won will win a round. For instance, consider a match where you must win 2 rounds. If Player 1 has not won any rounds, and Player 2 has won 1 round, if the next round ends in a draw, Player 1 will win 1 round. And one more thing. I bet you're wondering, what happens when the final round of a match ends in a draw or a double down? When that happens, an extra round will take place. If that extra round also ends in a draw, then the match will be considered a tie, and both players will be given a game over. That's the end of the explanation on the rules for winning and losing. That was a bit long, wasn't it? Good job getting through it all. Here, I'll explain how to understand the various information being displayed on the screen. If you're able to understand the information on the screen, that means you'll be that much more decisive. Reaching that point will definitely lead you down the road to mastery. Okay, I'll explain things in order. I explained this when talking about the rules for winning or losing, but the numbers in the upper middle area of the screen is the countdown timer, and on either side of that is the health gauge. The next one I want you to look at is the barrier gauge, which is located below the health gauge. By holding backward on the analog stick and pressing A and B at the same time, you can use barrier, which will consume this gauge and which replenishes over time. Below the barrier gauge are the round icons. These icons will light up when a round is won. When the designated number of these rounds are won, a victor has been determined. Next, under the character portraits, you'll see the overdrive gauge. When this gauge is colored orange, you can execute overdrive or break burst. Can you see the bottom of the screen? That's the heat gauge. The heat gauge can be raised to 100% by causing the opponent to get hit by or block your attacks, or getting hit by or blocking your opponent's attacks. I suppose the benefit of using the heat gauge is to utilize powerful systems. The explanation for the systems you can use will get rather long, so I'll go over them separately. Once you're used to playing the game, your goal should be to learn to watch how much heat gauge you've gained, and to adjust what actions you take based on that.
Excellent!
Next, I'll explain the system messages that display when certain situations occur. System messages for Player 1 appear in the middle of the right side of the screen, and messages for Player 2 appear in the middle of the left side of the screen, so watch them carefully. Here, we'll do a short exercise for the hit display. First, execute a combo that's at least 2 hits long. Don't worry, you can easily do a combo by standing next to the opponent and then pressing A, then B, or B, then C.
Action! Nice! Excellent!
That's what will display when you execute a combo that's at least 2 hits long. The large number is the number of hits. When the number is red, it means that the opponent was not able to escape from the combo. When the number is blue, it means that the combo was escapable. Put simply, red means the combo was inescapable. Blue means that there was a moment where they could have escaped the combo, but they did not. The small number below the larger number indicates the hit in the combo on which the opponent could have escaped. When you yourself are being hit with a combo, if you look at this number, you'll know when you could have escaped. Checking this is very important. Lastly, the number at the very bottom indicates the damage. Obviously, dealing a high amount of damage is important. You should play with the goal of first dealing 1,000 damage, then go for 1,500 damage. Was some of that a little difficult? If it seemed a bit hard to follow, when you feel like practicing combos, you can come take this training exercise again and you will understand it better. Next, I'll talk about the pause menu. You'll find a number of items on the pause menu, such as command list, key configuration, character select, hide menu, return to main menu, close. Pretty simple, right? On the command list, you can view all of the command inputs that your and your opponent's characters use for their drive abilities, special attacks, distortion drives, and astral heats. On the key configuration screen, you can assign your controls to whichever buttons you prefer. More specific information on how to use these will be explained later. Choosing Character Select will take you back to the Character Select screen, and you will be able to start the fight over from the beginning. This is good to use when you accidentally choose the wrong character. Choosing Hide Menu will leave the game paused, allowing you to take a closer look at the game's aesthetics. It's also useful for when you want to look closely at the background or a character's movements. If you select Return to Main Menu, you will quit the current mode and return to the main menu where you can select other modes. If you want to leave tutorial mode and go to a different mode, you should choose this. Close will take you back out of this menu, and you will resume the current mode you're in. Now do you understand all of the items in the pause menu? It's good to remember them so you can spend as much or as little time in whichever mode you please.
Excellent!
This game's modes are separated into categories. I'll give you a brief overview. The practice category is for when you want to practice with a character, like when you want to pick up a brand new character for the first time. The story category is full of modes for you to enjoy every aspect of the BLAZBLUE world, starting with story mode, of course. The battle category is where you can fight in various modes, such as one-on-one with another person, against the CPU with special rules, etc. In the network category, you can connect to the internet and fight online. You can stage heated battles online with players all across the world. The collection category is where you can go to view match replays and many illustrations. When you want to give your hands a rest and take a break, this might be a good place to visit. In the options category, you can set the game's rules and button configuration, as well as various game settings, such as the language and certain aspects of the game environment. Feel free to change the settings to best suit your preferences. That's it for the explanation of this game's modes. Choose what you'd like to do and pick the most suitable option.
Out of time? That was too easy.
Lesson clear.
Next is... Oh, what's wrong, Noelle? You've been looking at me from behind. Did you need something from me?
Tutorial.
What's that? I couldn't hear you.
Tutorial.
Tutorial? I was going to conduct a few training exercises here.
I'm the tutorial instructor!
I guess she really wanted to teach. Yeah, that's right, you are. You're the instructor, Noelle. I'm sorry. Noelle, you can take it from here.
Really? It's okay for me to do it?
Yes, of course.
Thank you, Tsubaki. I'll do my best to fill your shoes. Oh, were you listening to all of that? Don't pay attention to any of that. I'll run the training exercises fine, so forget what just happened. Oh, but don't forget the content of the next exercise. I'm so embarrassed I don't think I can talk properly. I'm the instructor here, so I need to teach like one. I'm so nervous that instead of talking politely and deliberately, I just sound silly. Okay, maybe it's best if I just talk normally. Anyway, thank you for taking this tutorial.